Will AI replace journalism? That's the big question. And I have to believe the answer is no, because if you think about it, we as journalists and those who support journalism, we gather new information, and AI can't do that.
I am such a fan of your podcast, AI in Journalism. That's the main reason we're talking today. So I'm so excited to dive in and learn more. Tell us, how did you get started with this podcast?
You know, it's interesting because the question about how I got started with the podcast starts with my desire to be a broadcast journalist many years ago. You know, when I was in high school, I didn't know what I was really good at, but I knew I loved talking to people and I loved telling stories. And so I thought I would be better at broadcast journalism. So I went to USC, and there I was studying broadcast journalism, but there was a professor in particular, Ed Cray, who said to me, you know, if you can write, you can do anything. And so I ended up following a print journalism track and loving it, of course, but always wanting that little part of me, maybe big part of me was like, I still want to do radio or TV. I really thought the medium really connects with me. In terms of the topic, AI in journalism, as a longtime professor of journalism, I realized that I am behind the curve. Once I discovered in the winter of 2023 how prevalent, and not in a negative way, but in a way that, wow, a lot of newsrooms have already incorporated AI, even if it's not within the individual, it's within the machinery or the system. And it really woke me up. The way that social media kind of woke me up when it was the 2010-ish, 11-ish period where, you know, I got hired by LinkedIn to do kind of work with journalists really and tell them about this social media platform. For me, that was another wake-up moment, which was, wow, you're a professor of journalism, right? Under the School of Communications, and you don't know about this stuff? So AI in journalism is really about the intersection between journalism and AI. So the stories will be about, they'll be either from a journalist perspective or a newsroom perspective or an industry leader's perspective. And they are telling me stories that will blow you away about what they're doing, about how much it's helped a small newsroom, you know, because the reality is you have these small, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people, and how can they cover communities all around them very well with such limited resources.
What are some tips you have for journalists wanting to use new AI tools while maintaining journalism ethics?
You get essentially some content that might help you with structure. Oh, that's how you structure a 2-column script, or that's how my resume should look. But what I'm learning really as writers is you have to go through every line. And what you're going to find is that much of that content might sound good, but is it accurate? One of the things I like about AI, it equals the playing field. And what I mean by that is, for those fortunate enough to go to J schools and those fortunate enough to work in large newsrooms or small newsrooms where you're learning how to do journalism, right? In the past, that's how it's been. People go, okay, I know what I need to do to write a news story. But you can ask an AI tool, I want to write a news story about this. I was at an event and I think I have a really good voice and I want to tell the story. It will show you the tools. It will show you, well, you know, typically you have a news lead and you've got to have sources and attribution. So what that does for anyone coming into the space is say, I took this photo, I took this video, I got this really great interview. Can you help me? The problem is if you don't know what to look for in terms of, is this accurate? So now a lot of these AI tools are now able to give us links. This is a fairly recent, thing that's happening, and that's great. Because they've heard from people, we need more sources, we need citations, we need to know. And so that I can see that happening. The problem is that many of those links are broken. But what I like about Monica is it's actually pulling from a lot of different tools, and it also provides the citations in a kind of a more academic manner, which means like if you're looking for footnotes, Monica is looking through tens, she'll say, while she's searching, looking through 10 different websites or, so it kind of tells you what it's doing, the machine, and then it produces these set of results. For me, I want the sources, I want the citations, I want the footnotes.
For those who are maybe a little tech averse, they're journalists, maybe a little tech averse, maybe are feeling just overwhelmed with AI tools, what's a safe place for them to start?
I would say ChatGPT. The more that you use a tool like ChatGPT, and it actually now gives you the option of telling them about yourself. And if you go to the top right corner, you'll see that you can customize. So if you want your voice to be, you don't want all of this fluffy language, I'm over the word passion, for example, you can start to train this model. You can say, this is who I am. I just want it straightforward. Always give me sources, always give me citations. But what I would say is start with a question that you have. Maybe even run your name to see what this AI tool knows.
What do you see being the future of AI and journalism?
I think that we're going to see a lot more advances in AI within the newsroom that are going to help to streamline processes, to make people more productive. The idea is there are going to be services that help journalists do their jobs, but will AI replace journalism? That's the big question. And I have to believe the answer is no, because if you think about it, we as journalists and those who support journalism, we gather new information, right? We go out and we tell you about something you don't know about, and AI can't do that. And the question will be, is how newsrooms continue to incorporate these systems, use these tools, but also really make sure that, the reporters, the photographers, the videographers, everyone in the editors in the newsroom don't get laid off, because you're losing that human insight that AI tools still need.